Hello and welcome to Admit One, your movie and TV podcast, right here on Rabbit Hole Media. I am one of your hosts, Jack Netley Thompson, and as always, and as usual, I am joined for a conversation I'm excited about by one Kristian Lasham.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm horrible. I hate this so much.
I bet it's toasty.
I hate everything. I really do.
What did we do last year?
I don't think it got quite this hot last year.
Yeah, but there were degrees in it.
We also may have...
I mean, technically there's degrees between 0 Kelvin and a million Fahrenheit.
I've lost track. We may have been some form of lockdown at this point still last year.
Probably.
I've completely lost track of what was going on.
I don't know.
But
2021 didn't happen. I'm convinced.
Fucking did. But
I'm pretty sure this 2022 hasn't really happened yet either. I'm actually convinced it's like June 2020.
It's just very, 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 very uncomfortably hot, and I really am struggling today. But otherwise, I'm fine. I'm great. Otherwise, it's just very hot.
Yeah, it's around about the time, the only time I would say that we've been wrong, and we've been and it was quite substantially wrong on the channel, and that's where we're like, oh yeah, this is just a cold. People are just losing their mind.
Yeah, we were wrong on that.
And we said that live on air. It probably wasn't live. We said that in a recording on the channel, and then pretty quickly afterwards, the world had diarrhea.
The world stopped. Yeah.
And that was fun. I was talking about it with a customer today at the moment. It was our first lockdown. Time of my life.
Yeah.
Time of my life. It was only because we opened up again that I got COVID from the peasantry public. But I didn't have to deal with them.
Just want to Extreme Sports just say, are they just at home because, or are you guys back in lockdown? Different issue. It is petrol over here. It costs more than a house. So
it is going back down though.
Reducing the driving back and forth luck.
Yeah,
also,
it
is coming down, but also it's very, 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 very hot in this room, and the two of us in here together is
unbearable.
Yeah, it's not pleasant.
Hence why, last time we were in the studio, you commented on how wet I was.
Yeah, I think I did.
No, Toom did.
Oh, right.
Toom commented on how wet I was, and it was a fair comment because I may as well have been a water slide, I think. Goodness
that's
gracious.
My favourite kind of ride, a Jack water slide. Ew.
Sounds nasty. Anyway, we are here to talk about Knives Out. A very, very, in my opinion, good whodunit movie. Murder mystery. All the larky. Directed by one Rian Johnson. I don't know if you noticed that.
Did?
Of The Last Jedi infamy.
Very dividing film.
I would say divisive.
Divisive makes more sense.
Because the word is divided.
Yeah, divisive makes far more sense. Yeah.
I divided 1 and 2.
Didn't.
You didn't. Anyway, what did you think of Knives Out?
You see, this is a passion film show. So first, you tell me why you picked it as a passion film, and then I'll tell you what I think of it.
Oh, because it's fucking good. That is genuinely the answer. Like, it's I love a good whodunit. If it, I think this film is incredibly clever, incredibly well written, outstanding performances from the outstanding fucking A-list cast, and like cinematography's great. Everything is just. When I first saw this film, I was like, yeah, it's probably going to be good. It'll be quite funny. Whatever. Rian Johnson. Ooh. Daniel Craig. Chris Evans. Yeah. So I wasn't expecting and I watched it and I was like, fucking hell, this was excellent. I think this was probably the third time I've watched it, but with the longest gap in between.
Right.
So this time I was noticing a lot more stuff as well. And still fucking excellent.
Fair enough. Well, you did mention last week or was it last week? Whenever it was that you put it forward, was that I like a whodunit. So do I like a mystery thing. But yeah, no, I agree. I think it was excellent. I had a great time with this.
Oh, thank God. We were about to have fisticuffs.
No, I think it's
Like, I would have said, put it back to the "we'll return shortly" screen. I'm driving over to fight.
No, I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. There are definitely elements of it which move away from what I normally like from a whodunit and from a mystery.
It's not a traditional
Yeah.
whodunit structure by any means, no.
No, which is weird because it is also very much a love letter to Agatha Christie from start to finish. Everything about it in most ways is a love letter to Agatha Christie. But yeah, there are elements like I don't like mystery stuff that kind of doesn't give you all the evidence and just sort of then just tells you an answer without really kind of leading you to it. I always find that a bit frustrating, but it did so much with it. Apparently I could do it being a smidge louder.
Oh.
Which is particularly interesting because I can hear myself delayed by you.
Oh, I can turn you down
Let me just fix this.
on my end. That'll just be how loud my Mac is at the moment. I will turn you down a smidge.
Well, hopefully I'm now louder.
Can the chat hear a delay through my mic?
Hopefully they'll tell us. But yeah, I say typically I don't like when a murder mystery show or a mystery thing sort of gives you either doesn't give you the information you need to solve it yourself or just shows you as it goes along, which that normally frustrates me. But because there was so many kind of twists and turns and the way it told you all that information and it gave you bits of information but not everything, but revealed stuff as it went along, it still kind of kept me engaged, which I think is just a sign of still good, clever writing to make that still work. Even though that we had seen bits of things unfold, we had seen without going, but we had seen it happen. We had seen what had happened, but was missing context to it.
Yeah, I think normally I'd agree. Like, if it's just they haven't figured out how to sprinkle in the clues, as you say, as to foreshadow. Yeah. Hannah, I remembered the word. There's like foreshadow what could happen, as you say, give you the ability to work it out yourself. But because so early in the film you see exactly what happened, there's just, as he says, that donut, that hole in the middle. Like, it doesn't quite make sense. Obviously, you can't really give all the evidence at once. Yeah, because it wouldn't really make sense.
Yeah,
for this
of course. I think
this particular film.
But I think they managed to present the solution to you early on in such a way where it doesn't feel complete. They do it in a way where you're like, something doesn't add up here. And I was watching it going, something doesn't add up here. And we're already on, so there's clearly more to come. And something didn't add up. There were things that didn't quite add up anyway. So it did kind of leave that kind of like, oh, where's this going to go? And I didn't work it all out. And I normally tend to work these things out, or at least bits of them, but I didn't work any of it out really. I was just kind of, well, what's happening? But in a good way, not in a I don't understand what's going on, just what is it?
Yeah, not in a you get the answer and you go bollocks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because those whodunits definitely exist.
Yeah, they do,
to the point where I wouldn't even classify them as a whodunit because they haven't done it properly.
Yeah. It'd be a who did it.
As this was a rewatch, I've got some notes and stuff on things that I just found were really clever early in the movie. That
we're going to tag this from here as plot and spoilers.
Yep, cool. There's just some lines of dialogue that don't have to mean anything, but if you kind of know the plot of the film and exactly what's going on, you kind of notice more. Some of them are more in your face than others, but as we're in spoilers, I'll go with my favorite one. And it's the second in your interaction that you have between Marta and LeBlanc, or Daniel Craig's character. And one of his earliest lines is something is afoot.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because he's already figured out that she was involved somehow because she had blood on her foot.
Yeah.
And I just... Shit like that. I was just like... That, to be fair, could be nothing, but to me that just stood out on a rewatch and just like... Because she's got blood on her foot. And they hadn't shown you that yet.
No,
So
yeah.
for me, I was just like, oh shit, it's because it's on her foot.
Well, they also, I feel like, because they show you sort of midway through the movie that she's got the blood on her foot, and then they have the scene where she shows him the false window, and he's crawling down on the floor looking at the mud, and they film that it's shot in such a way, so all there is in frame is him on the floor, and right next to him are her feet. So like that for me, I was there going, oh, he's going to spot the blood there, but they then didn't make a fuss of it. But they all these little things just to remind you of that still. So when he did make that reveal at the end, he's like, well, I'd spotted that straight away. It just it doesn't feel out of place that he's mentioning it.
No, not at all. And yeah, exactly. They've kind of sowed that seed throughout the movie so that when he just brings it up, it's not like, oh, well, that seems some nonsense that you've just written in at the last 10 seconds. Foghorn Leghorn, Richard said, absolutely. Absolutely. Daniel Craig in this movie is outstanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
This might be my favourite performance he's ever done.
I think the thing is why it stands out so much is because it's hard not to see Daniel Craig as James Bond at this point.
For sure.
Like, it's just like, you know, that suave, well-spoken James Bond character. And this is such the opposite. Like, he doesn't even have his normal suave look and demeanor that he normally has really as Bond. It's
he does in a way, but in a very different way. Obviously, it's not the. It's a tweed
charisma.
suit and more of a.
He's got charisma, but it's
sleuth, as they call him.
It's very different kind of charisma and different kind of character. It works very well, and I think his performance is great in this, and I think it's just a testament as to how good Daniel Craig is as an actor.
Good. We've actually timed this quite well because the sequel supposedly comes out in September.
It does. I was looking into this earlier on, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very excited by that. So I would. We can come back when that's out.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how they'd approach it because seemingly the only character falling over is Craig.
Yeah, it wouldn't really make sense.
Yeah, which makes sense to do, but you know, it's kind of like big parts of the way. Big parts of what makes this film good is the nature and the complexity of the plot, but then how they film that to, you know, how Rian Johnson uses film and the medium to tell you that plot and to reveal not the plot of the film, the plot of the murder to you.
Yeah.
That is the most interesting. Like, Daniel Craig's really, really good, but this film is good not because Daniel Craig is a great detective and that character is a great detective. The film's good because of the way the story is revealed to you and the way you see everything unfold and all the different little tricks between it. You know, there's a lot of it that Daniel Craig's detective doesn't figure out. There's a lot of it he doesn't figure out.
Told.
He gets told, and then he's able to put the pieces together. So it's not like it's a your Jonathan Creek or your Adrian Monk or your Columbo or
No, he's not like a super detective.
Yeah, and it's not the kind of thing where it's like those sort of shows where it's the interest is seeing how the detective is going to work it out. So I'm intrigued to see how good an idea, like, the next film is going to have to top it in terms of the complexity or the interest in the mystery and the way he presents it to you, because I don't think just Daniel Craig as a detective alone is enough to carry an entire second film.
No, I agree.
That's my
there's a lot more to it than just Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have even made a sequel to this film without Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of then becomes, why is it a sequel? But
yeah. But I'm happy for them to do it. I just hope that they've got the right fuel.
So do I. I have faith that they can, considering he made this. So I have faith that he could do it again. But we shall see. We shall see in the coming months. But yeah, this, just as we're talking about just actors in general, I think a new awakening for me was Chris Evans in a sweater. Not gonna lie, that man is ridiculous. And in all seriousness, it was very, very cool and very fun to see him be the asshole. Because obviously we mainly know him as Captain America, the goody goody two shoes. I am gonna save everyone. As opposed to this, I'm a prick, and I'm very self-serving, and I just think this entire cast is ridiculous. Cheeky little thing of obviously when they were like trying to play out that Meg was a little bit of the shitty one. She was on an iPhone, so for me that was just like, oh well, it wasn't her. Just because of the way things go with contracts and things these days. I don't know if that's still a thing, but I'm pretty certain it was.
I know it has been a thing. For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about there was like Apple used to not let film studios use their products if the product was being used by the villains of the movie. Essentially.
I think the iPhone thing is now not a thing. Entirely possible, but I think it was when this came out. I don't know that for certain, but I think it was when this came out. I'm sorry, I have an itchy foot. I'm not just sitting like a weirdo. My foot has been scratched. My foot has been scratched. So what part of it was the main thing that you didn't see coming?
Essentially, it was how Chris Evans was involved. So I couldn't.
Oh, okay.
It was clear to me that he was involved. That kind of, I think, was quite obvious. Not in a bad way, but I couldn't work out what it was. And the idea of the fact that she had never actually switched to drugs, that didn't cross my mind once at all.
No. So in my head, I knew he switched the drugs. But I didn't predict that she didn't.
Yeah.
Or she accidentally swapped them back. Well, not accidentally, but she swapped them back by just being able to tell the difference.
That's the kind of thing I meant. I didn't click that she hadn't actually administered the wrong drugs.
I thought that was outstandingly clever.
And I think the way they revealed it to you was very clever.
That whole scene at the end, that was just Daniel Craig going on a tirade. And essentially a rant.
Oh, well, I love all my favourite murder mystery things is ones where there's a good reveal, a good speech to the group. Yeah, I like that kind of stuff in a murder mystery.
Absolutely. It's...
Have you ever
that whole scene.
Watched Death in Paradise?
No. Oh, yes, I have, yeah.
They're very good. I really like those. They're very good for that.
That was the one that had Ben Miller in it for a while,
He was in the first 2 seasons, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, he was in the first 2 seasons. He then wanted to take a break from it because of their filming schedules on it. Because they actually film it in like Guadalupe or whatever. They're away there for like 6 months of the year filming it. And he basically did a couple of seasons, then went, look, I don't want to do this I want to take a year or so off or something. Because spending half the year in this Caribbean island sort of thing.
It's not ideal.
I can't do other work. I can't see my family. And they basically said, no, you're either doing it or you're not doing it. So he went, well, I'm not going to take on a new contract then. And he said publicly it's the worst thing he ever did because then they killed him. They literally just go, well, fine. And they kill him so he can't come back.
Yeah, that's such a petty move, isn't it?
They've not done that since, to be fair, because they've changed detectives a few times and they've always written them out kind of fairly, and they've changed a few characters. I don't think any of the original cast is in it anymore. They've all kind of moved them around, but still managed to make it work. But he said that he regrets now not doing it because it means he can't ever go back to it. He wanted to go back to it. He just wanted a year off because of the filming schedule was insane.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I hadn't in any way whatsoever even considered the possibility that she had switched the drugs back and she had never actually poisoned him.
Yeah, no, not at all. And like when you take a few moments to fucking think about it, fucking heartbreaking.
Oh yeah, absolutely is.
This man was fine, and like if it just paid attention to her and tried to wait for an ambulance, like it would have been absolutely fine. But in the end, he's decided to slit his own throat. Man, what a way to go!
Which he was doing anyway, just to help try and protect her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was doing it entirely for her.
I mean, he clearly had a bit of a thing for her.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of, I'm going to throw some trivia in there on how improvising is a bit of good fun. Jacob's line, "You had sex with my grandpa, you dirty anchor baby," was an improvised line by Jaden Martell, who is the kid. But it was completely lost in the background of all because obviously that the whole scene is them just all shouting. Originally lost in the background. So Michael Shannon heard it and piped up and said, "Oh, that was actually a fucking good line." And said to Ryan Johnson. So they did it again with him in the front of the audio. It also did make us stop and Google Anchor Baby.
I didn't Google Anchor Baby.
Anchor Baby is someone who kind of... let me...
Google it again.
I want to get the wording right. I remember the general gist, but I can't quite remember. Oh, this is a different answer and makes more sense, actually. Well, both make sense. I got a different answer. Yeah, gets pregnant to trap someone is the trap someone into a long-term commitment is what we got. But this, an anchor baby, noun offensive, is what is telling me now. Used to refer to a child born to a non-citizen mother in a country which has birthright citizenship, especially when viewed as providing an advantage to family members seeking to secure citizenship or legal residency.
I see. It's kind of more applicable to the scenario.
Yes, but it makes more sense in that regard. But also in context, the trying to get pregnant to tie someone down also made sense given the implication that was being made by that comment as well. So and that was the Urban Dictionary one. That was the getting pregnant one. So it could have been what the masturbating Nazi child was talking about.
I did like it. There's a point where Daniel Craig just refers to him as the masturbating Nazi kid.
Yeah. What the masturbating Nazi overheard in the bathroom.
But yeah, sorry, I was going to say...
A joyless wank to videos of dead deer, I think. Joylessly masturbating to videos of dead deer. Yeah. I was going to say, this is an American film. They wouldn't have said wank. I thought that was a fucking cracking line.
Yeah, so I was going to say, I think the reveal of the toxicology report and the way they did that was really good as well. Because obviously,
what's in the results of the report?
Yeah, and the whole thing of the way they used that and the way they brought that into the plot with Chris Evans's character sort of encouraging Ana de Armas through that. And that you're not given any reason to believe that it isn't just a toxicology report that shows the morphine was in his system, which would then, incriminate her. It doesn't give you any reason to think otherwise, but not in a negative way either, as I say, because there's no reason for any of them to think otherwise. The only person that would possibly know is Chris Evans. And he is doing weird, shady stuff the entire time, which is just enough to suspect him, I think. And I think that reveal of just Daniel Craig just looking at the sheet and then just stepping in and having a go at the family and saying it was suicide and putting her away.
Yeah.
Was just kind of like, it was at that point that I had worked out, like when it's that, I was like, toxicology report says something different, doesn't it? And I was like, but what is it and how is this thing going to work? And it's kind of, that's why I think it doesn't really fall into the problem of it not giving you the information to work it out yourself, because it kind of still does. It just gives it to you at the same time that he gets it.
Yeah.
And then what you're getting is him piecing it together.
Yeah.
After that, you're not after that when he's then going on with his speech. There isn't him there learning new evidence or anything like that. Really, he's then just piecing it together with all the evidence you've already been shown as it's unveiled throughout the film. That's why I think it is generally very clever and a very good mystery film.
I see Rich has brought up the show Elementary in the chat, and it's like the only reason I can't watch it is because they're American.
I'm aware of it, but I've not seen it.
No, I haven't watched it, but I'm just like, you know what? No. Like, you've got your detective shows. Get your hands off ours. Something that made me...
No, Elementary is American. Rich is what Jack meant.
Is Sherlock not actually American in it? I assumed he was.
Oh, I'm just now misunderstanding text because Sherlock could refer to so many things at this point. He may be talking about the character, the show,
the show, film. Yeah. I assumed he was American in it. Oh, okay, fair enough. Didn't know that. Watson's still American. That might not be true either. I made that claim with such little evidence.
It's very, very vigorous.
A line that properly cracked me up. Obviously, the scene where you find out that ransom has been taken out of the will, but you don't know everyone has it yet.
Yeah.
And he's doing the eat shit.
I will not.
Just enjoyable to watch that anyway. But in the background, you just get faintly. I am not eating one iota of shit.
Yeah.
And cracked me up.
Good line.
Thoroughly enjoyed that line, and it just I got a few chuckles going back and forth.
Yeah, I had a few chuckles at some things. I can't remember anything in particular, but I definitely had a few chuckles at some things. I did enjoy. Well, at first I wasn't sure. I was it was weird. So the beginning of the film is, I think, the roughest part. That kind of long interview section at the beginning.
Yeah, I think they do some clever stuff, but it goes on a little too long. I think.
And I think if they hadn't done that clever stuff, it wouldn't have worked.
No, for sure.
Because there's a couple of it just goes on for a very long time. But what I like and what I think does make it work is they're flipping between multiple conversations just at the cut of a camera angle.
Yep.
And it kind of, in a way where the sentence makes sense for both conversations. So as they cut to Daniel Craig, who says something which makes sense as a response to what the last person asks, or what the last person has said. But it's a question he's asking someone else. But it's really clever dialogue, very well written and very well cut together. I've really enjoyed that sequence. At first, as it started, I was like, "Oh, this is odd. Is this what this film's going to be?" What? It started to get very clever very quickly. And that's, as I said, like it is a real love letter to Agatha Christie and the classic mystery novel and the way those things are put together. The beginning of it like just the opening sequence of just there is a dead man. You get the name of the film to come up on the screen in big block letters, and it just is straight into it, just introducing you to each character as the detectives are being introduced to each character, which is typically how these murder mystery shows do it. In a who are you? How did you know the person? And I liked that it kind of shot that. It did this weird thing that those interviews at the beginning, the camera that was facing the interviewee was shot and set up as if it was like a TV interview.
An interview, yeah.
And they came up with their name in a lower third and stuff like that. That was kind of clever, quite interesting. Just sort of introducing you to all the characters, going through there's now some twists, which changes some cute clues to the final big reveal at the end. But they even had like her mum was watching Murder, She Wrote at one point. It really was a full Agatha Christie love letter, which is, I mean, I don't like Murder, She Wrote, but great by me because I do like that style. And that style of writing and murder mystery writing has fueled all the stuff that I like today. So.
Yeah, there was quite a lot of stuff in that in that movie. One of them in particular from that scene was the piano in the background. Where before we had been introduced to Benoit Blanc, it's he's just in the background, and every now and then he'll just hit a key on the piano, and people have worked out why he was doing that. And
the impression I got was he was doing it every time that he heard something that made him think of a clue or something like that, or
essentially, yeah. So every time Benoit Blanc hits the piano key, it's a cue to the detective to ask them about the time that they arrived at the party in order to find out if they had any motives.
I see.
So it was. So yeah, it seems that it's every time he hits the piano key, that's when the detective asks them about the time. Other than when they hit the piano and go, "Who the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
I like the way they cut between the different interviews and had just a complete juxtaposition of like approaches to the same scenario. Like with Tony, was it Tony?
Joni? Who do you mean?
Bear with. The wife of the son who died, who
Joni.
just lingering around.
Joni.
Yeah, I've gotten confused because Joni is the character's name. Toni is the actor's name.
That's
Toni Collette.
fair enough. That's very confusing.
Yes. But she was just like, so who is this man? Who is this person? And it just cuts to Richard being like, who the fuck is that? And I enjoyed that. And then there's a lot of foreshadowing. There's so much, even for things that aren't necessarily relevant to the plot of the murder and stuff. There's so much foreshadowing for little things. Like
I think everything foreshadows the murder in one way or another, if not directly, because a lot of it is then foreshadowing just the each person's different motive, but particularly I think Harlan's motive to do what he did.
For sure. But I mean, there was one in particular that doesn't really. It kind of goes towards why he might have. Yeah, Harlan's motive for the will. But the note at the end, you have that kind of bit of foreshadowing, which is just as we've came up with our own language of communicating. We came up with our own games to play as one of Jamie Lee Curtis's.
I see. Yeah.
Opening lines, and then that doesn't come back and come into anything until literally the very end, where she just holds the lighter under the note, almost by happenstance, seemingly, because she was already out there having a cigarette, and then it's just like, your husband cheated on you, and that is what the "you tell her or I will."
Yeah, I do like as well when that
kind of played into that motive.
I do like what it does there. So you see her looking at the note and looking up at her husband, and him looking back. And then it cuts away to something else.
Back and he's got a black eye.
He's got a black eye. Great work.
Yep, absolutely. Another corker of a line is in like a comedy line. Obviously, Richard says to Ransom that after Ransom was cut out of the will, or at least Ransom revealed he was told he was being cut out of the will. But Richard was just like, this might be the best thing that's ever happened to you. And then as they're Ransom and Marta are driving away, this might be the best thing that's ever happened to all of you. And then just cuts to Richard like, what did he mean by that? And, just little lines like that. I'm a big fan of. Just
So there was a bang and a shout from outside.
Orgy. Something else I really liked, and we kind of mentioned it in the way the interviews were cut, but during the scene where Harlan was narrating the plan,
yes,
for Marta to do, it kept cutting back into like the so obviously it was Harlan's narration over Marta actually carrying out the plan, and I love the way like the
her dialogue
kind of changed, especially the before the lion statue, after the lion statue, be after for the lion statue, and the
because that is her telling, like she's telling the story, isn't she?
She's remembering it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's trying to remember the thing, and it was a climb up the green lattice. Lattice?
Good enough.
Is that the word?
It's a word. I don't know if it's the right one. Terrace.
No, the green, the stuff up the side. That's not a terrace. The green stuff. What's the stuff?
What's the stuff?
It's kind of like a lattice because it's like a lattice topping to a pie, isn't it? The way it's all crossed. So I assume it's a lattice. Is it lattice? Someone in the chat, hurry up!
Hannah, this is what we need you for.
Where are you?
Trellis. I was close.
Thank you. You got to climb up the trellis. You got to be kidding me, and that's in like real time, and then just the narration. I am not.
Yeah,
and things like that. I thought, I love shit like that. I think this movie, there's quite a bit of it between the interviews and that scene and later scene. Oh god, everything is so fucking clever. The fridge magnet with the CCTV tape. They're just playing dumb and walking through the.
what?
Did you miss that?
I think so.
You know when she says when they're going through their VCR tape for the CCTV.
I know what you mean now. Sorry. Yep.
Yeah, and then she takes the tape.
Yeah.
And then when they're like, "Oh, I can take that off you," it reveals that she was holding a fridge magnet.
Yeah.
To fuck with that tape.
I was thinking throughout this, like she's actually doing a real good job of covering her tracks here.
Literally, she walks through them.
Yeah, but like, she's doing well. She might get away with this shit. And I was actually thinking by that point, I was like, I wonder if this will be that. It's throws like a curveball. It's like an anti-mystery thing where it's like they actually get away with it. I wonder if it will be that that's how this film goes. That the plot will be that they get away with it. But I don't know if that exists. Like a murder mystery, which is presented to you as a murder mystery, but you see the murders. You see how the murderers get away with it. Don't know if that's been done.
It'd be quite clever.
We should write it.
I think you would have to do it in a movie like this where it was more of a manslaughter than a murder.
Yeah.
Like a complete accident type thing. And then just no one figures it out. Done that. Obviously, I've just written down that it was Rian Johnson. Already done that. Just everything about this film. I think, like, the foreshadowing and the little bits of, like, the really old... So Harlan's mother, just being ransomed back again already. There's little lines like that where you wouldn't think anything of it until you go back. And the fact that the dogs only really bark at ransom, but like aggressively bark as opposed to just a happy little yap. I think like little bits like that, and the fact that the dogs barking when ransom arrived woke Meg up, so he came back again later. Hannah says she had a lot of jackets on. She did. Man, she's cold. Nope. Running out of blood flowing through her veins. But I just... everything about this movie, I think, was just so fucking clever. And I am jealous of the ability to write a movie like this.
I did enjoy in the scene where you were seeing what actually happened between Harlan and Marta.
Yeah.
And she's like telling him, I've just given you this, whatever. He's just like, oh, okay, that's a shame. And he's like, oh, I need to write this down. This is a very good way of a murder. Just stuff like that. Yeah. I was enjoying that. He was just so nonchalant. Like, I'm going to die in 10 minutes, right? But let me just get this plot idea noted down, though, just in case.
Well, yeah, because at the time, it was more, she'll solve this.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't figured out that she didn't have the drugs on her yet.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Sorry, I was just intrigued. So I was just looking at the cast for
Ethan Hawke,
Glass Onion. Ethan Hawke, Dave Bautista, Edward Norton, Catherine Hahn, Jessica Henwick, which I don't know if you know who that is.
No name, probably no face. I'll look.
Kate Hudson. It's quite the cast. I'm very intrigued by this. Well, I was already incredibly intrigued, obviously, but even more so now. I can't think of anything that I know that you've seen that Jessica Henwick's in.
Just had a look through. Nope.
You literally said this. You did. I'm just remembering this now. I apologize. I'm pretty sure Rich was talking about it earlier as well, but I didn't clock that we were talking about Glass Onion. In other words, I'm a fucking idiot. What else is new? Yeah, I enjoy this movie, and I think we should come back for Glass Onion.
Agreed. Well. All over that. Quite happy to.
It's just Netflix as well.
I know, yeah. Well, I ended up buying this today.
Was it? That's what Hannah ended up doing yesterday, I think, because it was like, what, 50p more or something stupid?
In 4K, it was the same price.
No, as in then renting.
Yeah, in 4K, it was the same price to rent it in 4K than it was to buy it in 4K.
Oh, I see.
So I was just like, well, I want it in 4K, so there's no way I'm renting it in HD. I might as well just buy it then.
Yeah.
Like, for paying the same price, I'll just buy it. And I'll probably watch this again at some point, to be fair. I generally really enjoyed it, so... Yeah.
Yay. Yeah. I'm good at this passion pick malarkey. I'm pretty sure whoever's had to watch mine has everyone's liked my passion picks. What? Have I done one or two before?
I don't know. I've lost track.
I can only remember Mad Max.
We've done 144 episodes of this. Sorry, 143 episodes of this.
So there's Knives Out, Mad Max. I'll have to scroll through and figure out what the fuck else I picked because I can't remember. Don't Love Fury Road. Well, you're incorrect. No, that's fair. It's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I think it's bang. It's going to be hard for me to say I didn't nail a passion pick, really, isn't it? Kind of defeats the point.
I think I've nailed my passion picks too. It's not my fault you have no taste.
I do. I picked this.
Have you seen a film? Because you won't like this, I don't think, actually, but you might. That sounds stupid in a sentence, doesn't it? Have you seen an older movie called Clue?
Oh, Clue.
Tim Curry.
Yes.
Which is kind of like
the one based on Cluedo.
Yeah, it's kind of like a comedy whodunit type thing.
I don't remember anything about it, but I think I've seen it.
Because I remember enjoying that film. It does this thing where it gives you kind of like 4 different possible endings.
I think that works for Clue because obviously
yeah, exactly. It kind of does, like, they give you the ending and then it's just like, or could it have been this? And it goes through another possible ending which perfectly lines up with all the evidence and everything that's happened, and like, or maybe it was this. It's very good.
That's really clever. I might have to give that a watch.
Good. I mean,
they just call the game Clue in the States as well, don't they?
I mean, it's an older Tim Curry movie, so it's it's very old style slapstick comedy. I think Peter Sellers is. Oh no, that's something else that Peter Sellers is in.
There's the occasional movie that gets me, like Airplane. Like, come on, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah. But
it's not too far off that kind of comedy style, to be fair. It's that kind of era.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy like Austin Powers as well. I know not the same era, but a similar-ish type of comedy.
Christopher Lloyd, not Peter Sellers. Christopher Lloyd.
Doc Martin. Doc Martin. Is that right?
Close.
The Doc.
They're the shoes.
Oh, that's because I've combined the Doc and Marty McFly is what I've done.
Yeah.
And created a shoe. I don't like the utter vagueness of the release date for Glass Onion, though. It's September or expected 22.
Yeah, it's a bit vague, isn't it?
When the fuck is this happening? Because I want to know, because I want to watch this. My one thing, like, I'm hoping I assume it's literally just a case of this film was being made and Netflix went, here you go.
I presume so.
We'll pay for the rights to stream this. For the exclusivity. But I really hope it's not a production made by Netflix, because they're incredibly hit and miss when it comes to movies.
I'd say Netflix
Usually
are hit
miss.
and miss anyway, to be fair.
They are, to be fair, but I mean, the stuff that kind of floats to the top, when it comes to shows, the shows that really float to the top are usually because they're good. The movies that float to the top are usually because there's nothing. Because, yeah, there aren't very many good movies on Netflix, and it's bizarre to me, because you're just like, you've got a lot of good shows, but then I can think of 3. Oh no, not even. I can't. Well, it's a lot of just middling mush. But anyway, back to Knives Out. I actually think we've covered largely everything.
I think so. I'll round off by referring what I said at the beginning. I generally think the film was really good. I had a great time watching it. I think everything that needed to work in this film worked. I think they paced it well. I think it was shot in an interesting way. It was kind of, I was worried it was going to fall into style over substance, but they didn't. It wasn't so stylized that that anything like that happened. Good performances and good characters, like interesting characters as well. All of them a bit different and unique to one another. And the main thing for me was that it was an interesting plot and a clever murder to solve that was revealed to you in a very interesting way as the film went on, and that's where it really stands out. The way it was revealed, the way it revealed the answers to you as it went on, I think was top drawer murder mystery stuff.
I fully agree. I think in terms of murder mysteries, this is my personal favourite, but there are many excellent ones. I just really appreciate the spin on it and the complexity. Well, I mean, they're all pretty complex, to be fair, but the very particular complexities that they used, and the sprinkling of comedy, but they didn't try and make it too comedic. It was just a bit more light-hearted than anything else. One thing I did want to actually say was Harlan specifically says that Ransom is the type of person that wouldn't be able to tell a knife between a prop.
Yes.
Tell the difference between a prop knife and a real one, and then obviously.
Yeah, as soon as he picked the knife up and it was
knife.
doing that really slow motion, over exaggerated scene, I was like, prop knife.
It's a prop knife. Yeah. That shot, by the way, whenever they did a shot, because at the beginning you could see the circle of knives.
Oh, the shot of Daniel Craig
in the
sat in front of
background.
it.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Yeah,
but
cool.
They wait until his big moment to have someone sat dead in the center. Loved it. Perfect.
It also,
great.
for me, I don't know if it was intentional, but for me, it kind of, that also symbolized his donut with a hole in the middle was now complete.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when I saw it. Don't know if that was intentional at all, but
he's filled the hole.
Yeah.
Woof.
Fill my hole. What?
But here we are. Richard said, "Gonna clear through some last bits on watch list of Netflix and then bin it." Yeah, I've been really tempted to get rid of Netflix. I mean, now I'm gonna wait for fucking Glass Onion. Obviously.
I use it for a lot of binging stuff. I wouldn't get rid of Netflix.
I would yeah. There's not really anything. There are long periods of time that I go through Netflix, but it's the sort of thing of I've got some things that I want to binge, then I binge them, and then by the time I've actually cleared my watch list, a new thing has actually come out that I want to watch, like a new season of Stranger Things or whatever.
I've recently just discovered that Netflix has a lot of stuff in Dolby Vision, which I'm enjoying. So.
Oh, nice. Didn't know that. I have discovered that I don't have Dolby Vision though. I didn't think I did, but
sorry, mate.
No, it's fine. I'm buying a Sony. I'm not really. As much as it is a reason to upgrade, it's not enough of a reason to upgrade. You said you were cancelling Netflix and then Umbrella Academy and Stranger Things showed up. Yeah, pretty much. I also, because a lot of other people use my Netflix, I've also, since the last time I said I was going to cancel it, arranged for me to receive funds from them for Netflix. So less of a reason
fair.
to cancel it because it's not costing me as much. Yeah, I think overall, bit of a wrap up. This film, I think, is excellent. and it's one of my favorite films of all time. Hence why it's on this list. On my list of passion films. One of like 16, I think. 2 of which I think are available on streaming services. So we'll give it a while before I have another pick. But yeah. You've already done your closing thoughts. My closing thoughts. If you haven't seen this film, why the fuck are you in this chat? Because now you've ruined it for yourself. And yeah. Thank you very much for watching. This has been Admit One, your movie and TV podcast, right here on Rabbit Hole Media. If you like what you're doing is watching us. You can follow us on Twitter at rabbithole_UK. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can see us anytime that you wish. You can follow us on Twitch at Rabbit Hole Media, and you can join the chaos and carnage that is our conversation over in the Discord.
Indeed.
And now you can follow us on Instagram at rabbithole_media_UK for all the behind the scenes tits and bits. Sorry, there was a sneeze lingering. If you all the behind the scenes tits and bits.
Merch.
Oh yes, I thought I just said that. If you'd like to support us, head to merch.rabbitholemedia.co.uk for a wide range of merchandise that will forever get wider. And finally, if you're watching us live on Twitch and are an Amazon Prime member, you get 1 free Twitch Prime membership a month. Please find it within your hearts to give that membership to us. It doesn't cost you a penny. It goes a very long way in helping us bring you the shows that you love. Coming up on the channel, Tuesday we'll be back for Admit One for Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. Intrigued to see this, because I don't really remember this at all, these upcoming Pirates movies, so I'm intrigued to watch them and see where we stand with those. Next Saturday, it's very soon, next Saturday is both Press Start episode 200, where myself and Kris will be joined by Daddy Hole himself, Richard Hill, who's going to quiz us with potentially 100 questions each. So,
that's what I was under the impression it was, yeah.
Yeah. Who knows if we get that far, if we survive. But that's going to be some nice, fun, competitive chaos spreading. Still going on questions as I write this. Excellent.
Is there a prize?
Rich's love, apparently.
But that probably
That's what I
tastes
said.
funny.
I asked if there was a financial one. If people want to contribute to a prize, as Rich has just winked into the chat, I mean, by all means, please fucking do it. Please fucking do it. I mean, there is still some rabbit hole money left, but we should probably use that for Spider-Man.
I only mean like, a cake or a nice cookie, maybe.
It would have to be a particularly nice cookie.
Yeah, like
to be 100 questions worthy.
Like a tray of Millie's cookies, or a tray of Krispy Kreme donuts, or something like that.
Fair. Because I mean, we even did a prize for the E3 thing.
Rich just said a point. Surely we're getting cake anyway. Dunno. Have I got to buy confetti cannons again? Have I got to make a mess of this room again?
I would say no, largely because there's a quiz this time. There's a point. There's a plot.
I might get party poppers as a minimum.
Yeah, there's a synopsis. But anyway, immediately, Admit One next Saturday will be She-Hulk. It's come up. It's here already. I'm looking forward to Daredevil and his beautifulness. Looking forward to it. I'm mainly looking forward to She-Hulk for Daredevil, which is not a good sign. But here we are.
Indeed. I'm looking forward to it. I'm quite happy just to keep getting Marvel, regardless whether or not I'm getting tired of it. I'm also not at the same time.
I agree. That's exactly where I am. Yeah. I'm just like, give me your Marvel. Give me it. And then...
You get it, and you're like, oh...
And you get it, and we're like, well, just take your time, guys. Come on. Fucking hell.
But give me it.
But also, give me it. Give me good shit. That's what I want. Give me good Marvel shit. Not this mediocre stuff. Friday, of course, gaming stream with Sammy and Rich continuing It Takes Two. And there we are. That's what's upcoming. Thank you again, everyone, for joining. Remember, don't go anywhere. It is a Saturday night. For once, we are actually on schedule. I say for once. For once this month, we're on schedule. So we will be returning immediately after this with this week's episode of Press Start. So don't go anywhere. And until next time, we shall see you then.
Bye!